Oh, it's Friday. It's Reviving Life, the podcast. We are back. We are fully staffed this week, ladies and gentlemen. Fully staffed. The man himself, Big Homie, has returned from the shadow realm. He's going to fill us in exactly what's been going on. Beverli, Rhodes, back once again. We're getting a little bit of feedback from Big Homie, so I'm going to mute you in between talking, Big Homie, but that's okay. You'll figure it out, bro. You'll figure it out. But look, it's the things that we have got to tell you guys today, right, are going to blow your mind. All right, I've unmuted you now as well, homie, just so you know, just in case you lose your rag with your technology. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great, Big Homie. Just say something so I know your mic's working.
We back working.
Oh,
good to see y'all.
Hell yeah! Before you sounded like this. That's what we were hearing, right?
Pardon me.
It's good, bro. We're good. So listen, right? We're going to have a little bit of chit chat because what we're going to talk about tonight is probably going to blow a lot of your minds. It's what Big Homie, Beverli, myself united together weeks ago now, and we're finally able to come and talk about some of the things that have been going on, and it is mind-blowing, right? So, but before we do that, Miss Beverli Rhodes, how are you? How was your evening, the remote viewing session? How has your week been? What is going on with this bit of hair? Fill us in. I hope you're doing wonderful. Hopefully doing wonderful.
It's been a really good week, and I wanted to wish everyone their wonderful Valentine's energy, because I know we had a great show earlier the week, which was lovely, and I hope everyone had a wonderful day. And we had another remote viewing group tonight where we're working on a case with someone in Barbados, and it's turned out really well. We had a record number online, and we've got an entire report to give to the person that has asked us to help. So yes, it was very, very good. Thank you, Ron.
Good. And the man himself, Mr. Big Homie, how are you? It's good to see you alive and kicking and doing well. Tell everyone how you're doing and talk a little bit about, if you can, what happened last week.
Hello. Thank you for having me as well. You know, it's good to see y'all again. Man, I got a lot of things going on right now. Last week, we had a situation where there was an active retrieval going down, basically, and well, obviously can't say everything that I said to you, but
yeah, of course, yeah. Basically, it went down. Like the provisional hit the fan, right? Is what you're saying, right? Things got real.
Yeah. Things got very real, and that led off into the night, and then like a 10-hour time difference, and then some people was upset that a lady was removed from their hands.
Upset. We're going with the words upset, the understatement of the year. They were slightly tiffled. They were a bit bemused at the activities that had taken place.
Definitely tiffled. You know, upset people, and then that led to them contacting family members, and you know, things got a little hanky, as I should say, and then we was able to mitigate that, and then
through some administrative discussions, of course, you know what I'm saying, diplomatic ways.
We had a little after that, and things just got carried away,
and a little bit of panel beating.
You know, I'm excited. It's good to see y'all. I'm excited to be here. I won't miss no more. Pardon me to everybody. People were very pissed. People in my inbox, where are you? You're supposed to be here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, when I know what went down behind the scenes, trust me, that takes priority, and I appreciate it. Well, everyone, make sure you give us a like and a share. Push all of this out. We're going to just get into this operation that we want to talk about first of all. But just to let everybody know, the Project Root website has been updated. There is about to be a bunch of new bits, you know, tools added. There's a flyer going up. There's a poster. I've upgraded the QR tag licensing thing so that it's, you know, adjustable at any point and is on the premium settings and stuff like that. I've spent this week building a new system. Well, not buying new parts, but taking 2 old computers, building a new computer, so that I now have a completely standalone deep web system that I'm just on what's called a capture card. So what the capture card does is it turns an HDMI cable. You attach the capture card to the end. You attach that to another computer, and it effectively turns that cable into a webcam. So you're seeing the deep web computer, but it's no way in any way connected to the main system. It is on networks, all this kind of stuff. And what I need to do is I need to get a little table for here. I've got everything. It's a case of buying a piece of wood and putting some legs on it so that I can mount the monitor here, little keyboard here, and then we'll have the second station set up. It's just been a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie, it's been a pain in the ass. But once that is up and running, that will be this week. I mean, I say this week, it might be in bits. It might not look pretty, but it might be functional.
But it works. As long as it works, that's all we need. As long as it works.
It's definitely working. It's now just fitting it all in here. So once we're off and running there, what I'll be doing is every week I'll be keeping a tally of how many sites reported, and then what we'll do is I'll go back and check on them and see how many have been taken down, and we'll have little tallies on the screen each week and things like this, just so that we can all be like, meh, sorry to disrupt your funds, evil doers of the darketh webbeth. So that's what I'm working on just now. Obviously, I told you guys last week about the case I've been working on the last few years. All of the footage was sent off to lawyers. When it starts hitting the courts and things like this, publicly, I'll point it all out to you. And obviously, there's been massive news, which I don't know if it's public yet, so I don't know if I can talk about it.
I don't think it is. I had a look, and there's nothing out there yet, so we won't be able to say much.
There's some big updates coming from one of our regular guests. It's pretty mind blowing. So. Okay, listen, let's jump in to this, and I'm going to hand this over to Bev and Big Homie, because this is very much real world, spiritual world genre. And ladies and gentlemen, you are in your first Infiltrate, Liberate episode. So I'm going to let you guys take this away. Bev, I don't know if you want to start, or Homie, you want to start. Maybe Homie, you start, because I imagine the case started with you, went over to Bev, it went that way. So take us through this, and let's go through this nice and slow, because we need it's
the first time that Homie and I are even discussing this apart from amongst ourselves. So this is the first time we're talking about it's an exclusive. You won't hear of this being reported anywhere else.
No, you definitely won't. And I'm just jump right into it. So gentleman comes to us, basically had a lady with his daughter disappear from his home. She was lured off TikTok. Once he seen we had went public, he reached out to me. He got in contact. The man drove from the East Coast to the West Coast to come and meet me. We do the initial threat assessment, and we verify everything is what it's supposed to be. This man took 274 of his days of his life this year on his own, last year on his own, trying to track these ladies down. With the help of Ron and Beverli, we were able to centralize a location in under 48 hours.
Yeah.
To me, that was mind-blowing. You put in so many hours when you work in these situations. Countless hours. The sweat equity that you have involved is impeccable number. For us to be able to literally triangulate a location on an actual map out the country was just, to me, was amazing. The most powerful point for me, though, was should I say the location?
Yeah, I think we can say the location.
So I'm in Colombia, in the Yumbo region. I'm in a very precarious location. And I'm talking to Bev, and she described my location, and she mentioned a black leather chair, and I turned around and I looked and I seen that leather chair. This is a powerful moment. I think about this all the time because that's got to feel like a burden sometimes to be able to be able to feel all of these vibrations, to be able to take your mind and put it here and be able to feel pain and all type of different feelings just on a sensory perspective. When she described the paint peeling off the wall, there's no way she could have known that. It's just no way she could have known that. And like ever since then, I kind of had a renewed vigilance because it's like, all right now, Ron did assembled the Justice League because like for anybody who like questions like anything like that, like when it comes to Beverly's abilities, like, you know, I'm not gonna lie or invent anything. You know, I won't always speak from an eloquent perspective, but this lady is a blessing because there's no way possible. Because I'm very discreet. You know, I move very discreetly. I'm hard to get on the phone. You know, I go dark at times. I'm hard to get in contact. And for her to be able to literally describe the exact location that far away, simply amazing. We got to clap it up a bit because
thank you.
That's truly amazing. So,
and at least we were able then, because of where I knew you were, and also we were able to get the taxi cab number and the chap that was driving the cab. And then I was also able to give you what the condition and the state was of where the youngster was being utilized, and you know what it was, where she was walking up and down, and the other inhabitants of the building, where the building was, what it looked like, but also more importantly what you were walking into, to make sure that you were kept safe and that your crew were kept safe. And that was really important for me, is to say, you know, what's the firepower that you're hitting up against, and what's your blind areas here.
That's another thing. You know, they were armed to the teeth, but Bev was able to warn us. So we ended up being able to take a semi-diplomatic approach.
Yeah, better.
You know, we was able to do a unite. Yeah. Now, without Beverli, this probably could have taken. We probably wouldn't have got to her in time. Like it would have been. It would have taken years. It would have taken years, because once you get down to the southern border of the United States and that Texas, New Mexico border area, things just get a lot more blurry when you're trying to be on a trail or something. Yeah. And we were able to bypass so many man hours of tech work and phone calls.
Boots on the ground.
Well, we were able to get boots on the ground so fast. I was so excited to get down there. And like, I'm calling my buddies that I know in high places. I don't want to have an international incident. And I was
not. Gee. But we avoided that. We avoided that. I said to you, this is the lieutenant. This is the person. This is the building. This is the person you're going to. So we managed to avoid all that nonsense, thankfully.
Yeah.
So to be able to approach him directly, that was just invaluable. Invaluable. Like, completely invaluable. Like, I'm forever grateful for you, because you gotta think about it. It's thousands of taxi cabs throughout the city. You got some that's marked, some that's unmarked. Like, if you call an Uber out there, 10 guys pull up for the Uber to pick you up. So, you know, it's a lot of little weird things that happens on the streets there. So I feel like if one minor detail could have been off, we all would have, we would have been in a dangerous situation. But everything was spot on, down to the description of the sign of the hotel/brothel area that they had them in. That was remarkable. On the guy, that was remarkable.
So, those are the easy bits. Those are the easy bits. They really are. They're not that difficult. I liked also when I was looking at the area, when we did the quadrants, because how we did it is how I'm training my remote viewers at the moment, is we're taking a map, and then as I explained to you, homie, we cut it into quadrants, and everybody takes a quadrant, and we mark all the numbers, and then we go into the quadrant to look for the energy signature of the missing person. But the interesting thing was it actually crossed across 2 quadrants, especially because where that river was, where we saw the people washing their clothes on the side of the road, and then you had to go past that in order to go up to where you ended up having to discuss with the lead head honcho for whatever the agreement would be, as well as whatever the value would be that you had to find. So once you saw that, you knew that you were in the right area.
Yeah, and to add context, once we saw how long the ride was going to be, the car that we had was so small. I'm like, look, I'll pay extra if somebody can get us a different vehicle. So they ended up like a Toyota SUV. We going through these little roads, up and down all these hills, and it's like really like in some areas it's like no traffic laws or anything. Like people just doing anything. I'm looking like, man, I hope Bev is right on this one because we gonna be in the teeth. But we had some people that are from there. We hired some like other guys to coordinate with. It was like truly a life-changing moment for me. Like it's like it plays back to my mind all the time because you get a lot of anxiety. You get a lot of, you get paranoid. You think sometimes like, man, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this. Like just being, a human being, just being a normal person, and you never want to get too cocky, and you never want to get ahead of yourself in this game, in this business, because the moment you do that, you miss something.
Yeah.
That's a critical detail, and obviously, people's well-being and lives are actually on the line. Once I found out through Beverli that if they can't like sell a sex worker if they're a certain age, like they'll just murder them and harvest their organs. These type of things going on. There's like some type of battle between good and evil, and for some reason, us as human beings is important to these forces. And if people like us don't unite, and the people that support this channel and the show, if we don't start doing something to ignite that flame of change, nothing will ever happen, and things will just get continuously worse. And I think about this often because, when you go to these locations, you can look in people's eyes and see like, man, the soul is lost here. Like this compromised. And you turn into a pillar, like a glimmer of hope for people. And, it can get overwhelming. So like that's why I'm thankful for Ron. It turned into a brother to me. I'm thankful for Beverli for having that support and having our back because, I didn't really want to go public with this type of stuff, but I feel like I had to do something because there's too much. I could safely say it seems like humanity is kind of going a little wayward, and people need. It's up to us to change and do what we can for sure.
Yeah,
we're gonna bring more people back because
hell yeah.
I was gonna retire, like I was gonna be completely done, but like now that I know I got Alan watching, I can feel Bev, but she's peeking. I got an explanation for the feelings and the vibrations that's going on. It's on and popping now. It's a few people I need to see for sure. It's
But
at least when I pinch you, then like I pinched you last week, you could feel that, which is quite interesting. I wondered if you'd feel it.
I never forget those pictures. Like I seen Bev in the hall screaming for me when I was blacked out. So like, yeah, I got some interesting things going on because some very interesting things going on. People reaching out, they got interesting situations. We gonna work. We
move.
Well, we've got space for another case because we just finished one last week, where it was a young child that was a Down syndrome child actually, and it looks like that the authorities have decided that they're not going to do any more on that case, because it's past a particular day. It's past 25 days now. Okay. And they've taken all of the information and done whatever they could, but they can't seem to be able to do any more. So we've been asked to, cease. In other words, don't continue working on that, which means that the team, we can take on another case. We've got one in Barbados, and normally we have 2 running concurrently, so we can take on another case.
A case that I'd sent you from one of our community members. I'll resend everything to you. I know it's just I've been waiting for it to slip into the time slot, metaphorically speaking. Yeah. So keep it open, and we'll get pushing on that case, because it's.
Okay. So the principal in that case is located in Barbados.
Yes. Yeah, he is. And he went missing 8 years old, mental age 8 years old, and case number 777333. And it is the person actually walked out of a hotel with these shoes that were too big, and he went missing on the 6th of December 2024. We actively started working on that case 6th of February, and he went missing from the Cobbler's Cove Hotel in Speecetown, in a tan shirt and white shorts, and shoes that were too big for him, that were flip-flopping around. The CCTV, the group actually described the CCTV footage before we were told of the footage, which was quite interesting to see the response from the individual that brought the case to us. And she was like, that's exactly what happened. So the good thing is we've got a list of things that we need some boots on the ground now. We're at a pace where we're ready for boots on the ground to go out, based on everything that's come back from the 25 remote viewers that have been working on it. So it's ready.
And there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things I want to mention, right? Beverli, just like myself and just like Big Homie, we have people that are part of our individual teams, right? We are very much individually the tips of the spears that have a very long handle, and without that long handle, that spear tip is useless. We're just the faces of our cut of the pie of all of this. And just a big shout out to all the individuals behind the scenes, the team, the ghosts, the boots on the ground, the spiritual, the remote viewers, all of you. You remove a section of it and things start to tumble. So we are a massive group. So just make sure you send that collective positive energy out there. Now, there's a couple of questions I want to throw at Big Homie, but I just wanted to confirm to everyone, just in case you've tuned in late, we are talking about a real case that took place where Beverli's team used remote viewing to pinpoint a lost and missing transported individual that Big Homie had brought to Beverli's attention. Now, Big Homie, let's look at the same case, right? With Bev involved and Bev not involved. So the first thing I would say to you, what would be the difference in timeline from when you left your house to travel to a location? How much quicker was it with Beverli's involvement from finding out the case to stepping out to go into a location? What was the time frame? And comparisonly, what would it have been like without Bev on average?
Without Beverli, minimum 6 months, man.
Wow.
Probably could have been longer.
And we are talking about the epitome of the time game here. When it comes to transportation of anything, whether it's stolen dogs, substances, humans, pew-pews, whatever, there is the first 72 hours, 96 hours, things are moving around. You know what I'm saying? By design. So when you say 6 months, let's say optimistically, right? For some reason, it's a week of travel, and then there's a couple of days where you're just in a room, whatever, and then the rest of those 6 months you are living through a nightmare in hell. You know, as the victim here, and to reduce that time down it's kind of mind blowing, right? Now, second of all, Big Homie, not just the time difference, right? But when you spoke about Beverli being to notify you of dangers you didn't know about, like armed individuals and things like this. You weren't joking when you said your life was in. If you had just went in without knowing that, what could the outcome have been?
Like I always tell people, the moment I walk out my door on one of these situations, I'm prepared to live and I'm prepared to die. Because a lot of times I'm going into situations blind. And, it's hard to get intel, especially when you got a language barrier in the area you're going to. To be able to bypass the whole language barrier, because let's say you get a translator. The translator could be compromised and could put you in even more of a bind. We were able to bypass that itself. It gets no greater than that, because once you have to, okay, when you go into these areas, your phone, you have to get a phone card and a SIM card. So you're not going to be able to just use the iPhone for Google Translate in these rural third world country areas. It's just impossible. And then I'm 6'6", I'm 400 pounds, I'm a giant. I stick out like a sore thumb in this area. So I gotta be discreet as it is. I gotta
a 6'5" Thor sub, my G. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's quite a thumb.
What? Straight thumb. Cause it's like, yo. And and I'm down there looking like this. You feel me? Like sometimes I might not wear a chain. I do, go like this. And not having to speak to the cab dude, because at first he acted like he didn't even speak English at all. So to be able to speak to him, and we knew exactly what was going on, and then when we get to the head man in charge, and he was the most unassuming looking guy ever.
He was. Yeah, he was. Skinny little runt.
Right, super unassuming. So it's like, man, it's no way. Like every day, like I subconsciously smile about this, because it's fulfilling when you get to see a look in somebody's face and it's like, wow, they didn't forget about me.
Yeah.
They didn't forget. Like, there's always tears, tears come on. And that's when I remove myself. You feel me? Normally, I don't be right there, because it's not about me. It's not about what we did to get them there. It's about them beginning their healing process, for sure. Because
hell yeah.
How long did it take before the extraction? Because I know there was, with the negotiations, it added a few days. We were hoping to get her back before Thanksgiving, but I know there was a couple of days with backwards and forwards and making deals, and finally getting the person in charge at the time to make the final decision. It took a little bit longer, but at least the person was back, the child was back by the time Christmas came.
Yeah, and that was an antsy period for us, because once we there, and you thinking about what the principal is going through, like at these moments, and you close, start getting that little uneasy feeling, like, okay, are they gonna try something when it's time for the release? Like, are they gonna try something? Because situations where they pull a switcheroo, they'll act like the person you came for is this person, but it's not. And then that leads to confrontations, that leads to more trying to watch my words.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Yeah. But we kind of knew that the way that they were being held at that time, and the negotiations, as I'd said to you at the time, just hold your ground, hold your position, because they're not going to do anything. Just hold the position, because he particularly was worried about what it was that he was dealing with, because he didn't know. He knew he was dealing with something weird. He didn't know what he was dealing with,
Yeah.
But he knew, just don't muck about with this one, mate. Just do the swap. Let the extraction take place and let them go on their way. And maybe once they've gone on their way, whatever that stuff is that's traveling with this chap, hopefully it will go and just disappear with him when he's gone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not gonna, we kind of wanted to jump the gun a few times. Like, man, we know she in there. You know, we kind of seen some little patterns going on. We noticed like on like that third day, they had sent like a couple more dudes away. So it was just two little guys right there. I think it might have been one more inside. We was.
I tell you what, because we break that part down a little bit, because when you originally told the story, I think you kind of missed out the sheer span of the operation. I think a little bit, because when you're sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and we're talking about a legitimate operation where your faith is so rigid in Bev, she is effectively, you have faith in her like as if you were Google Maps and something, right? And we're just waiting on Beverly's pin to drop in the metaphorical map, and you get the green light. And this is what everyone needs to understand. This is the reality of this. In order, and any skeptics out there, unless Beverli arranged the entire thing to have this lady taken, and then for somehow got Big Homie to receive the job, and then somehow I just so happened to introduce the two of them, okay? That is literally the only way that you could have faked this, okay? Just to throw it out to the skeptics, right? We are 100% on the nose, referring to not just the finding, but the moment, hour by hour, play by play, operational tactics, going from Colombia all the way to the UK and back again through this collective group with Big Homie, and it was the real deal, okay? And
people don't understand. Like I'm gonna say this with all seriousness. Like,
yeah,
this not a game. This is not a. You know, I smile and stuff like that. You know, people say I got dark humor. You know, things along those lines. You know, people see me doing podcasts and doing interviews and stuff, and like the entire time, most times, you know, I'm kind of uneasy because I feel like a sitting duck right there, because you know, I've caused a lot of organizations to lose money, and now I got like secret weapons, like I'm with the X-Men, and I'm able to really. I got some people in my sights. You know, we might make headline news. That's how serious this is, because this is a dangerous game.
It is.
This really as it gets. It's as really as it gets.
Not nothing to play with. You will lose your life. You will get killed out here playing. You dealing with high level criminals. You dealing with people.
Yeah, they'll unalive you as soon as look at you, because there's different values on individuals. And having been in that environment for 9 years, I know full well what the capabilities are of those individuals, because I felt it firsthand and developed a few bits of coping strategies, which works extremely well, particularly sitting for 5 minutes with my fists really tightly clenched.
Yeah.
5 minutes, because then when you let it go, you have that total release and that total calmness, because that's the only way that I, at that point, was able to deal with it. And I'm sure it'll work for you as well, Big Homie, is if you just clench your fist for 5 minutes.
I want to talk about total calmness for a minute, because I want to put this in perspective to anybody who may be on the opposite team, who may be watching this. As you sit in your home, thinking of the terrible things that you're getting away with right now, I want you to understand the game-changing situation that we're in now. There's a group of individuals that can find horrible people, can find victims. And when I said last week, we are now at a stage where we can reach out and touch. We can reach out and touch you, okay? I want everyone who sees this symbol on the screen right now to understand the realities of the next chapter of this Surviving Life, this podcast, this team, this movement. The realities of what we're talking about are facts. And remote viewing, the spiritual, the real world, the online world, I hope you can all see how this is solidifying as a reality. This isn't a gimmick. This isn't a fad, you know, trying to go viral nonsense story. This is the first step in real fear-inducing change for not just criminals on the large scale, but monsters on the small.
Exactly.
And it's a glorious day to be able to say that to all of you brothers and sisters out there, because I tell you something, what a great day it is to actually have something of legitimate use to instill a little bit of concern into those sitting. If you, listen, I'm talking to you, the one guy who's watching this, whose backside's clenched right now, because you know, baby, that clock is ticking. Because this will spread. This isn't just one remote viewing group. Other groups will cotton on to this, and they'll gravitate to us, and we'll grow, and we'll grow, and we'll grow. And then before you know it, there is some real change happening. Just like what has happened in the lives of the one individual, the first individual, the big homie, Beverli, liberated, the team has done. It is the realness, and it is just the beginning. Would you not agree, big homie and Beverli? Would you not agree wholeheartedly? This is the game changer.
I would. It is the game changer. I'd love to know how she's doing, and when she saw her parents, you know, when she was taken to the hospital facility and she was safely back in her home country in America, safe in one piece. I mean, that was a fantastic day. So maybe share with our listeners and viewers and everyone in the chat what we all know, and just how amazing it was, because that's really, and I was saying this tonight in my remote viewing group, I said to everybody, this is the reason. And these are all volunteers. Nobody gets any money for any of this. Nobody gets paid. These are the volunteers that give up their time freely. And I said to them all, this is why we do it, is to find missing young people. This is what we're doing, and this is what it's for. So it would be great to share what was it like, so that everybody knows what is the end result.
Right. So Ron had made a comment. He said, I kind of blanked out part of the operation, right?
Right, yeah. But I understand. Like, do you know what I mean? I understand.
Yeah, but see, so check it out, right? Normally, I have to coordinate so much that's what be on my mind. In this instance, I was able to just zone. I was like a bullet, like a missile, like a heat-seeking missile, because I was able to zone in. It was almost just like getting radioed in. Okay, pull here, wait, recon, pull here. It was almost like that. So I was able to just get like this super laser focus, because I stared at that picture for so long, and I had it programmed in my mind. I was gonna know when I saw that face. So I'm scanning every face I saw. Like I was just in a whole different mode, only because I didn't have to spend so much other time doing the logistics. So it's like, man, and I'm just realizing it right now. Like that's like the greatest feeling ever. That's what I live for. I live for that moment where it's like, I'm coming for you, because the boogeyman is real, and I'm outside, and I'm so powered up. Nah, I can't, man. I'm powered up because, man, it's something that's been weighing on me. I wanted to ask y'all.
Yeah, ask away, my bro.
So, man, a lot of people have been coming to me after watching Alien DNA, right? And some of our other podcasts. Like, I've been getting a question a lot, and people keep asking me, have I ever met the devil? You know what I'm saying?
So random. It's such a random thing to ask. Oh, off-world DNA. Oh, big homie. Met the devil, yeah, mate. It's so random.
I guess like in some of our other shows, some of our conversations we had online, like this question keep getting brought to me from people in the UK, right? So I want to ask what's your opinion of the devil? Like, how do y'all identify that?
Well, first thing you'll identify is the smell.
No, I mean, how would you? I mean, I assume that what you meant with the question is how would we define him? Like, if we were going to talk, like, yeah, is that what you mean?
How would you define like who the devil is, like who Satan is? Because one of our other investigations, Beverli brought up that the principal may have been taken to a satanic church. You feel me? That's something that comes up a lot. Comes up.
Okay.
So and people keep.
So you literally get asked on the basis of, because you tell a lot of stories about, and you're very open about meeting interesting characters. You know what I'm saying? And I think the premise of your question is more along the lines of, as a suspicious man in a well-dressed suit, you know what I'm saying, with maybe the slight remnants of a pointy tail, a slight hoof to the foot, metaphorically speaking. I mean, I'm being legitimately serious. I mean, people will be asking you straight up if you have ever felt the presence of the devil, is imagine what this is. And to me, when I think about him, like, honestly, man, like, I don't really think a lot of people would be happy if I said the things that I was going to say, because they'd be concerned about me. But to me, the modern take on the devil started with the modern faith of Christianity, right? That's where we all learned about him. And to me, that's some new kid on the block nonsense. So it is much older. I believe whoever the devil is in the modern concept is a repackaged, old, ancient, nasty McNasterson, okay? The real deal. But the manifestation, I believe, that we're talking about, a big red dude with horns and hoofs and things like this, is a concept of man. Whereas I believe the true, when I think of the devil, it is, and that is the evil I talk about. That is the essence of the cabal. It is the end boss. It is the final fight. Okay. There's nowhere to go after that, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. I'm just a guy on the internet. Beverli, your take. I imagine this is way more in your field. So what's your take?
Well, yeah, you're very right. Some of the imagery that we see at the moment is very much a Hollywood projection of what it is like. When you're at the rock face, it's nothing like that, actually. It's more along the lines of individuals that have, a split in their energy fields that's allowed something particularly negative or evil, or one of the lower realms of the different dimensions to come through. That's more what it's like. But the key area that we all understand when we're doing this work is there is a particular smell that you get with those entities and types of creatures, because that's the best I can use for them. I don't ever give them names because I refuse to name them, and I refuse to give them any energy. So they're either called it or thing. And when we know there's an attachment, we know that is then what speaks through these people. In various religions, they do have names for it. They call it, full-on possessions, or they call it all sorts of things. I've heard all sorts of things in my 45 years of doing this work. And generally, the smell is the first thing you will definitely smell, and you will notice that the face of the individual changes. It changes on one side first, and then it changes on the other side. So if you notice any of those incongruent areas where the left side and the right side is completely different, the voice starts changing. The voice that's coming out is not the same as the voice of the person that you know, plus all the mannerisms are completely different, and you've got the smell on top of it. Chances are you're more than likely dealing with or talking to one of the lower dimensional beings that's managed to get in there somehow.
Okay. Do you think, though, that when we're talking about the hierarchy of demonic energy, right, that when we get to the top, the top dogs, do you think that they've got the ability to mask some of the lesser demon signs, such as the smells and things like this, even just for short periods of time? Because I imagine that being able to walk among us is key to a lot of these higher evil powers. In fact, I think it would almost be more appealing to them to corrupt from within the realm of man through legal systems or whatever, and corporations, BlackRock, if you know what I'm saying. But when we look at it from, do you know what's a very good example of this? Do you anyone seen the movie The Devil's Advocate with De Niro and Keanu Reeves? That's how I imagine the top dogs lurk, if you know what I mean, where their hands are in how they can control and destroy man through the acts of man, or what appear to be the acts of man. But throwing it back to you, big homie, what is it that you feel like when you're asked that question? I mean, how do you, what's your take on it?
Well, I'm glad I brought this up. You know, I knew the way to talk to the right people about this.
All right.
You know, I feel like everything y'all said definitely kind of helped me wrap my head around it, because, you know, when people ask you stuff like that, you want to kind of give them the most adequate response, you know?
Yeah.
And Beverly's just said something that was critical to me, saying that you've met one of the lower dimensional beings. That's interesting. That's interesting, because all right, here we go. People ask me, have I ever met the devil? And I'm not gonna say I met the devil, but I'm gonna say we met somebody. he was great. We met one of them.
The lower beings. I think, if I'm thinking about the one that I know that you mentioned, not the vampire, of course, the other one, but the other one was just one of the lower beings.
I see. I never mentioned this situation right here, because this situation was a little bit different, because previously, the night before, me and my brother Dugar, my partner I work with, we was helping this church search through abandoned houses in the neighborhood, just for safety reasons, because bad things happen in abandoned houses where people get to squat and loiter and, you know, crime-ridden areas. And they was also looking for somebody who was missing in the area. They feared she might be dead in one of those abandoned buildings. We was doing that the night before. So the next day we ended up at the Dana Hotel, which is 660 North State Street.
660.
In Chicago, Illinois. Now, we already having problems with dudes in the street at this time. Plus, we having problems with people that we have run-ins with in the human transportation world. So, you know, we kind of on edge sometimes, but, you know, we're laid back, always armed, as you can imagine. Now, we stopped at the bar at this hotel before we ended up getting our rooms checked in. Because as you know, Ron, sometimes I go dark for days, for weeks. You know, it's something we train to do. After a while, after you accomplish something, go dark, remove your digital footprint, etc. Now, we get to the bar, and I used to wear a silver chain with a cross on it. Now, when we get to the bar, a guy is standing there, one arm on the bar. You know, he's got a suit on, and he just gave me a weird feeling. Like he was crazy. That was a crazy dude. He gave me a weird feeling. Now, he said something to me. I forget what he said, but in my mind, I started thinking, like, man, hold on, where's my firearm at? Where's my gun at? And I just thought about this. The guy looks at me and says, you wouldn't dare pull something out. You wouldn't dare pull something like that out in a place like this. But I thought this to myself, and he responded by talking to me. I couldn't explain that. And I just felt like I was in the presence of an apex predator. I'm not going to lie. Like,
Yep.
He was crazy. And, you know, my and Dugar looking like, bro, what's up with this dude? And I don't know. It's just like he wanted to eat us or something. It was crazy. But
That's about right. He would have wanted to eat you. That's why I can hear what you're thinking.
That's crazy.
I need to show you what to do to shut down your mind so that he can't, or that the next one that you meet, that they can't do this. There is a way of doing it. I'll show you.
It's interesting, Big Homie, because I imagine, right, that feeling you felt, and you felt like this was an apex that you were in front of, right? Like you have probably stood in front of individuals on a pound for pound regular human being basis that you ain't getting no feelings of apex from. So that warning was your soul going, he wants to eat me. Okay. He bro, can we get out of here? He wants to eat me. Okay. Because that must have been again though. You are drawn to these cases, Big Homie. You are chosen for these cases, you know, and it's no coincidence. If you'd had one or two, fair enough, but this is a recurring thing, and Beverli is 100% the one to arm you with what is needed for counteract. Because I can't wait to see it's the next time that happens, right? And then you're like, I know you're reading my mind.
Yeah.
You ain't getting nothing from me. Okay.
No, there's a way. There's training for that. We'll go through that. Definitely. Yeah. Not having that again.
Not having that again.
I'm gonna work on my visa for Barbados. We'll have boots on the ground.
Good. I'll speak to the client. She's busy. She's in transit at the moment. She's moving from Spain back to the UK. She's moving into London next. Well, I'm seeing her next week. So I did say to her, I will speak to the teams, all teams, and then we'll have, you know, addresses. I already know who's working on the case. Police-wise, we know who they are, so I can tell you who it is. And I've got the pictures. They're ready. I can email them to you. So it's all ready to go. And I'm sure that once you get in there, you'll be able to extract very easily.
Absolutely. We'll get it done. We'll
get it done.
We're going to document it so the world can see it's going down. I'm excited.
Hell yeah, it is.
Get outside.
Hell to the yeah. Now, listen, we're obviously anyone who wants to throw some questions in, throw us in some questions. This story that you've heard tonight is the real deal. This is the behind the scenes, or one element of the behind the scenes of this whole movement. This is the real deal. And we haven't got a channel for this. We're spreading it around. Next week it will be playing on Big Homie's channel, as well as Beverli's, mine, and Sean's, so that, you know, these powers that be that decide that they want to try and take things down and all the rest of it, this is going to be spread out. And it's, and like I say, when we talk about these operations, this is what you're funding. You know, one large section of what you're going to be funding. These next operations, trying to you know, flights, things in the back end, things that you just don't know about, and that's what it is. So this is the first tale of the, shall we say, the test runs, right? The test runs from last year. The does it work? Honestly, it was so funny because there was a couple of moments where Big Homie and I, you know, we were talking on the phone, and he's like, this Bev's like giving us information, and it's like all lining up. And the two of us are losing our mind. You know what I mean?
Freaking out, like,
yeah, man.
I had so many moments like, how is this possible? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Talking about, like, we had some crazy moments.
Yeah,
trying to fathom, like, man.
But it's good. It's so good that you are all able to, including your team as well. And hats off to your team too. You know, they followed everything, and they went in, and they didn't really question. They just went in knowing that was correct. You know, the young girl was she was 13 when she went missing. When we went with the extraction, she was 14. So I think she was 14. She was 14, wasn't she? I think she was.
Keep it like.
We'll keep it like that, yeah. And I know that they were amazing because they realized that wherever this is coming from, we just got to act on it straight away because time is of the essence. And I think that is just amazing.
Oh, apparently I interrupted someone's story. I'm so sorry. What story was it? Hang on a second. What happened with the guy that said that you pulled a pew on me here in the Chicago hotel? Was that the story I interrupted? If you tell me what I interrupted, I'll get Big Homie to finish it off because I never realized that I interrupted anything. I do apologize. But hey, when I interrupt myself, like no one's safe from the interrupting. I do apologize. But if you let me know what it is, I'll make sure that.
Oh, I know what it was. It was the pale vampire person at the bar that was saying when Homie was thinking about pulling out the pew, he said you don't want to pull that here, and he realized that he's an A-class predator and wanted to eat him.
Yeah. So what was the wonderful climax of that story?
Right. See, that's the thing. So this was the whole thing about it. Because, like, bro, to beat me, like, in a physical confrontation, like, you got to be a bad man. I'm not going to lie. Like, So, and this dude wasn't that big of a guy. Like, probably like 6 feet tall. Looked like a little Italian, blonde dude, whatever. But it was interesting because I was just thinking to myself, like, okay, where is my firearm? Like, on my person. So I can, just having a situational awareness. And he responded by saying, you wouldn't dare pull something like that out in a place like this. Talking to me. And it perplexed me. So, but once me and Dugar seen his face and we chopped it up with him, we remembered we had seen him at a couple other places. We had on the plane with us when we was going from Chicago to Vegas. We remember seeing him on the plane with us. We also remember seeing him walking past us this way in a casino. We was at the Stratosphere Casino in Vegas. And so that day at the bar was the third time we had saw him. But we only remembered him because like he would just come in our view reference and he got a distinctive look. So
he does.
And before this, I didn't have anybody to talk to about this type of stuff. Like, because certain people be so locked in on their religious view, but then you try to explain to them, like, man, so many people had to die and get murdered for you to have like these religious viewpoints. Like you got to think outside the box, to really, if you want to really find out actual truths. So I've been getting that question a lot about have I ever met the devil? But I'm not gonna say I met the devil, but I will say we met somebody, because it's like I never ever. I don't fear nothing. I fear no man. I fear nothing at all. So for me to like make the hair like give you like the little chill, like the hair on your neck starts like, hold on, like what's this? Like when a dog sees a wolf, like that. I'm like, man, that stuck with me. So like, ever so often I look to see if I see him when I'm out about in places like that. So I definitely could say I met one of them. I don't know what I'll do if I see him again. I might talk to him. I don't know if it's safe, but I'm gonna talk to him if I ever see him again.
Try and learn something from it. Yeah, exactly. It's a crazy story.
Then it just made me think, like, man, these will be the like people who can do that.
Yeah, they can.
So it's like, damn, like this what Bev got to go against, and then in the physical world, I look at you, Bev, you tough.
No, we just we get trained differently. That's all. I did 9 years. 9 years is a long time. I did a lot of spotting for the military, and I mean what we're doing is not unusual. There is a huge agency program in America that has been around since the late 1940s and started in 1951. And they were training people that have abilities, particularly good extrasensory perception and good psychic ability. And the more you were able to do, and the greater that they were able to utilize your skills, the more work you got, which was fine. I mean, I didn't think much of it at that stage. But then when I started being asked to go to military sites and being taken in Hercules aircrafts and, going to look for downed planes and, starting to intercede on, revolutions and, all sorts of coup d'etats that I worked on and all these things, I kind of realized, I thought, this is a bit different. Maybe other people can't do this. Funny that. But yeah.
Are you paranoid now, BH?
Yeah, are you?
I wouldn't say I'm paranoid. I'm just cautious.
Yeah.
Just cautious.
Paranoia is just reality on a finer level, to be honest.
Thank you, Natalie. For sure. We working.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions here for you as well. One for Beverli. Can you please share how to block others from infiltrating our thoughts? I mean, I imagine it's a long process, but is there some sort of go-to, in the quick spell handbook, metaphorically speaking, that you could teach
probably
people?
Yeah, I think because you've got to realize that energy can go in and it can go out. So what you've got, if somebody's trying to infiltrate your thoughts, both the back and the front, they will know that you know. So the first warning is, I hear you. I know you. I can hear you. I know that you're trying to listen to my thoughts, and you don't have to say it. You say it in your mind, because they will pick it up. They will pick it up straight away. And you basically say, I repudiate you. Get out of my brain. You have no right to be in my mind. And that's your first warning.
You know what we need to do is create something that is almost like a dog whistle. So if someone is telepathic, it's just a horrible noise that's picked up sigil wise or something wise, because that would be an interesting one to see if we can pull that out the bag. I'm just saying, why not? Let's just throw in some. Let's start getting some rare items on the go. But we've got another one here for Big Homie, and I think this is a really good question. So, Big Homie, since the off-world DNA, have you noticed an increase in these situations?
Increase in my intuition since having his alien DNA.
Yeah. Oh, intuition. I beg your pardon. I don't know what I was reading. I think I just made up a question there. But yeah, there we go. Your intuition, Big Homie.
Right. Fantastic question. Undeniably, yes. Because my mom always told me that I had the spirit of discernment in my life. And, a lot of times I've had success outside in the field by just getting these feelings or just getting these thoughts of like, okay, we're on the right track. We're on the right path. This right here can get dangerous. And so now, after going through alien off-world DNA, constant communication with Ron and Bev, now I'm able to explain what's happening. I can put names to the terms. I can understand why I'm feeling this. I can understand what this feeling is, and I'm able to explain it to people now. I'm able to vocalize it with proper verbiage. So absolutely, undeniably yes.
That's good. Well, I think also a lot of your DNA has been activated and has been switched on, and I think that when we had that in between state, shall we call it, in it's an astral dimensional plane state where we had to sort of, get you back on time. That some of that meant that in order to continue the amazing work that you're doing and to keep you protected and to make sure that you're able to come out the other side, I think that there is a lot more to you now than originally was there, because you need it.
Definitely. I had the flu for 27 days.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
27 days. I was in bad shape, and then I'm having medical bad shape, and then right after that, I was clear. Like, that resounds with me. Like, now I can really trust my instincts more.
Good.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better about life because I was, man, it's a dark world. When you around darkness all the time, you start to feel dark, like it
Yeah.
creeps in on you. But like now, I feel a lot better. Like my personality is a lot better. You know, still have a propensity to get involved in certain situations, but
you can also take your crystal, any crystals, and you can start rubbing it across your hands as well, because that takes a lot of the energies off. Because after I've been working, I'd take this and I'd take it, my energy and your energy runs from the palm of my hands, because that's I push out. And that is what you can do, just to keep pushing it off and get it. But it must be a raw one, one that's just been pulled off, not one that's been polished. You want just a raw one. Get that clean, just to clean your hands off, and then go and do your salt bath, and then do all the rituals that you usually do when you come back, so that all that sticky, we have it. There's two words for it. One is called black goo, because there's no other word for it. And the second one is called psychic lice. And you pick up lice that are these little sticky little horrible things, and they stick all over you, and that's it. And the only way to get rid of them then is to get in the bath, do the salt scrub. They don't like salt, and it'll go, because they're only tiny. I mean, they're like so big, they're really tiny.
Yeah.
So that's the best word we have for them, is psychic lice. So when you get back, particularly when you're itchy, when you come back and you think, why am I itchy? Why is my head itchy? You can imagine, and that's the psychic lice. You just want to scratch it.
Interesting. Interesting.
Gotta get me one of those crystals ASAP.
Yeah. Okay. I want to follow up a question with this, big homie. So since you met Bev, since all of this has taken place, have you noticed an increase in interesting individuals increasing around you? And here's an interesting one. Have you noticed or felt any positive, interesting people sort of coming into your world? Because it's one thing that when you're on edge and you're in the world that you're in, you're so looking for the dangers, right? Do you think that you would even be able to, would your brain even have the time to register, I'm getting an interesting vibe over here, but it's not a negative thing? Have you had any increase in interactions with these individuals that leave more to be desired, shall we say, that can't be explained?
Yeah, actually, I'll say this. I'm able to see good people in a crowd of bad people.
Okay.
I got pretty good radar with that. But just yesterday, I'm sitting at the Starbucks. I got me a refresher. I got my laptop, and the whole Starbucks empty. Old dude, like I think he told me he was 83. Old dude gets his coffee. He's got a walker, and he comes over. He said, "Young man, I'm gonna sit over here with you." So I'm looking like, "Damn, okay." And he sat there. We chopped it up. We had a little brief, friendly conversation before he got up and he said, "You continue to be a blessing. Don't stop. Don't stop." And he walked out. So I'm just looking like,
yeah.
So it's like,
exactly like that. That's exactly what I'm referring to. Exactly like those moments, bro. Because that is just as amazing a story, because that on so many levels it far surpasses the evil mind-reading monsters of the world, because that was a positive, powerful experience in an empty room with a unassuming, unthreatening, old man coming to share a moment with you. And those are powerful. Those are powerful moments, man. They really are.
They're messages, actually. It's messages from those beings of light that we know so well. And we call them different names, obviously. But they will find, and because they have the ability to shapeshift, beings of light also have the ability to shapeshift. And I think that old man was a message to you directly because it was an empty spot. And I think that he was able to tell you directly, you know, what you're doing is a good job there. And because they knew that you would take it because you're respectful, you would take it from an elderly chap. And he was able to deliver the message. And once the message was delivered, that energy goes straight into your body,
right?
and
You know,
lights you up.
These moments, big homie, are what I refer to as tests of your character. You're in an empty room where no one can see you if you wanted to be rude to an old man, right? And you pass these tests and your character is tested. And I had more anytime anyone with one eye asks me for anything, they get it. I remember coming out of that ghost hunt where the equipment was thrown, Beverli, all of this, and there's a homeless guy with one eye sat there and he said, "Can you spare some cigarettes?" I gave him all of my tobacco. I gave him all of the cash that I had apart from my taxi fare, because I know I want any possible opportunity I have to show how grateful I am for everything that is bestowed upon me. And we need to look out for these signs, because these are little tests of character and they're so vital. If you are the same person when you are stood in front of a crowd as you are alone in a situation where no one would ever know if you wanted to be a horrible person or not, those are the moments. You ever have a moment, right, where for some reason you have a really off day, maybe like someone phones to ask you about your car's extended warranty, and you're snappy and you put the phone down and you have this feeling of failure where it's like, oh no, I was a really bad person right there, right? And it's almost like how you feel when you get handed like a failing for a test. You know, we all have little moments like that. Don't get me wrong, no one is perfect, and that's the beauty of it all. But these little moments are sent to test our character, I do believe. So yeah.
Well done, homie. That was really good, Keith.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, I just want to say there's a reason we're not talking about the individual whose name is spelled Baal. There's a lot of talk about it in the side chat. We may come up with an alternative word for that individual that we'll be putting in our dictionary so that we can talk about it. But the more you say and spell these individuals' names, that's how they gain power. That's how they stay relevant. Think of it as like social media relevancy. You know, if you have no one saying your name and following you, you basically don't exist. Okay, and that's the powerful, the powerful reason behind demonic forces, and they can be summoned and banished and controlled and used and do horrible things if their names are misused. And that's why we're not just throwing it out there or talking about it. So yeah, but not a nice dude. Let's just throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? Not a nice dude. But we will cover these in more detail once we have established a way of doing it that doesn't jeopardize anyone who watches shows like this and it's like, oh, I'm going to try summoning something. No,
don't do that. No.
So yeah, but I just want to say, everybody, this is why we're doing this. We have a movement. Okay, I'm just going to talk about that just for a second. If you go to projectrook.com, you will see our symbol here. Click join the movement. You get taken to our page here. Our most latest episode is here. You can scroll down. You can grab a hold of the QR tag that takes you to the website. National flags, identifying yourself. The movement that we're wanting to push out is creating this symbol that reflects a movement that is you. This is not the symbol for the podcast. This isn't our logo. We are just a podcast reporting on the actions of this movement. We are, we say, a crucial part to it all, but we need all of you. We need you guys. You know, putting up all of this is copyright free. You can make your own posters, your own stickers, whatever you want to do. Push this out there. But this symbol needs to serve as a warning to anyone who thinks children are a commodity and for them to prey on. Once we start piling up cases and there's individuals who are having criminal activities disrupted, from the criminals to the man on the street, none of them are safe. None of them. Thank you very much. I'm Y333. We will just answer your question in 1 second. We'll get to that in 1 second. So the movement is you. You are the movement, everyone. Little shops are going to, you know, privately owned, putting up our little symbol with our QR tag, letting customers know this is a movement that people can get behind, no matter your race, no matter your cultures, no matter your job, your social class, whatever. It doesn't have a name because language barriers cause issues, and you can see whatever you want in this symbol. I see like a little panda bear face or something like that, crying bear. Some people see wolf, some people say heart, some people say it's this and that. It's your symbol. Interpret it how you want. But go to projectroot.com. You will find all the links. Everything that is on here is official links. If you see channels popping up that are claiming to be anything incorporated or whatever to do with us, that is madness. It will be updated very, very soon as well. I just wanted to give myself a little plug. Well, the whole movement a little plug, but the website page in particular. Okay, from what I hear, these entities don't have the capabilities of voice. So they got to find a body to be their voice. Don't speak for them. Oh, Beverli.
Yeah. That's really good, Amoy. 333, great numbers there. Yes, that's exactly true. They need to be able to have vocal cords because they don't have a throat chakra point, energy point, and they don't have an ability to be able to project. They do need to what we call incorporate, where it incorporates with an individual so that they can utilize the throat and the muscles in your vocal cords. And the only way they can do that is through the left. So you will find on the left-hand side, you'll get a funny little pain and you'll feel a pressure from the left because that's the side that they move in, because they have no right to move in on any other side, because the heart is on the left and they need to be able to utilize the pump, which is the heart, to pump the energy around the body. And as they're doing that, they can shift in and shift out. And they can move in at will sometimes, depending on if the person has had a lot of banned substances, or if maybe they are, been using a lot of alcohol or doing all sorts of strange things. They can move in on the left and then temporarily utilize the throat for you to be able to say things. Because not only is it the throat energy, but it's also the breath that comes out of your mouth. That energy that comes out of your mouth, that's come from your heart, it's moved up through your throat and throws out. Think about your words. Think about the words that have energy and how that energy travels. And what I say to my students to actually show them this is we put some glitter on the hand and we say a word into that glitter. And you see how far that energy goes. When glitter travels, it travels everywhere. And that's a demonstration. And that's what they do, is they incorporate temporarily with you, get you to say what you need to say, and then move away. And you won't remember. You won't remember anything.
Yeah. It's wild. And it's one of these subjects that, I mean, you're 4.5 decades into this, Beverli, and everything that you bestow on the side chat, onto myself, onto Big Homie, it's every day is a school day in this whole journey. And we're getting close to 11 o'clock, everybody. We're sort of getting into the latter end of the show, but this is the real deal. Now, Big Homie, there's one little thing that we touched on last week, right? And we're going to touch on it just quickly at the end of the show, because a long time ago, the internet seen symbology and symbols. Here's one of them here. This was actually part of the case that I'm working on just now, Big Homie. This was seen in my hometown, and you can see just we've got little kids here on the side, silence, and little kids. Then this symbol. You and I done a podcast, and we were talking about this, and when people talk about, oh, well, these guys don't use this symbol anymore because we all know about it. Everyone knows about it. Sure. But that's when we're talking about the elites, right? But the lower echelons, this is still an identifying marker. And from the history of this symbol, there's still remnants of it. And you yourself, Big Homie, have seen this, in venues. Can we just revisit that? Because it really backs up that this isn't just mythology, that these individuals do use markers, and there is non-verbal communication that takes place around the world for facilitating these horrors.
Yeah, definitely. So, I really wasn't privy to some of these signs and some symbols until, I was involved into this project. So, I distinctly remember seeing that individual symbol on like the little invitation, like to like a private event basically. So I never thought, because I didn't see any like underage people there present, in the little area. But you know, there's no telling what's going on in back rooms. There's no telling what's going on in a different area of the building and stuff like that. So yeah, so now I definitely keep my eyes peeled for when I see that, a couple other things, because there's an airport in Denver, Colorado, and they kind of come under scrutiny for having a symbol like that in their logo for the airport. And it's a lot of little conspiracy theories that go around that come with that airport. So, you know, there's a transnational sex transportation and sex slavery ring that operates. Like there was actually a slave auction yesterday in Libya.
Damn.
So these are things that I'm privy to. There are a lot of different forces at work here. Like, and I'm glad we were able to have this conversation today because, you know, it would be impossible for somebody to do this alone.
Right.
It would be impossible for somebody to do this alone.
Yeah.
And definitely something to child sacrifice and child.
Yeah.
Unaliving.
Unaliving. Yeah, that's not a risky one. Ritualistic.
Unaliving.
Horrible things. Basically. You're okay, Big Homie. You're okay. We're at the tail end. Don't worry. We're at the tail end. YouTube ain't caring about the ads at an hour and 30 minutes, baby. They want that first 20 minutes high retention advertising time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, because I was in Nairobi, Kenya, and there's something out there where there's groups that believe that to cure themselves of diseases, that they have to force themselves on a baby.
Yeah.
These are things they really believe. Like they tell you if you see an egg in the road, don't walk past the egg because someone's trying to steal your soul. They do stuff like that in Kenya. So I'm just trying to piece together why are children important, because I guess they consider this pure, like innocent. Yeah. So I guess it's a trade for trade. But who are they trading with? Who are they trading with? How y'all feel about Ouija boards being allowed to be sold in stores as toys?
It's not a toy, but of course they've got to be able to get to the youngsters somehow. It's just, why don't we just open a portal? Why not just open a portal? Let's have lots of fun. Let's let as many of them in as possible. I just laugh at it. Ridiculous.
Look, what we're actually next week we're going to focus a little more on the levels of the ritualistic sides and things like this, because I know, Big Homie, that's another area where sadly it's a real, I mean, there's a real issue. We still have people who are out there in droves trying to put this out, put the narrative out that there is no such thing as ritual abuse, right? There is huge movements that want to discredit all of this. I'm hoping that a friend of the channel, John Wedger, is going to join us that night. You'll get to meet John, Big Homie, and he's an ex UK police officer who was part of one of the child protection units. It was his job. He was one of the guys that would go in, catch the bad guys, save the kids, and then had to go through all of the evidence videos. You know what I'm saying, Big Homie? Right? We're talking, it is insane. And then he realized there was so much corruption that where the police were involved, the judges were involved. He went to whistleblow on it all, and they said, if you do that, we're going to unalive you. So he just done it anyway. And they suspiciously, right after that, his son's car was driven off of a bridge, right? And you can call it what you want, but that was a warning. And ever since then, John has literally been, I don't want to say too much, but John is somebody who is very active and fights every single day for the same cause we do. And
he does. And I'm lucky. I've been working with him now for 3 years, 3.5. Well, it's actually 4 years now. And when he gets something that he doesn't know what he's looking at, he says to me, "Can I phone you? Can I show you? Can I show you what I'm looking at? Because I don't know what I'm looking at. Can you tell me what it is?" Which is so cute.
It's too funny because I've known John for years, then met Beverli, and I was like, "Oh, Beverli, you need to meet my friend John." And she's like, "Do you mean John Wedger?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, John and I have been working on cases for years." And I'm like, it's like the 80s, man. It's awesome. But when you meet John, he is the real deal. He is the real deal, and he's your side of things. He's IRL, boots on ground, and he focuses a lot on the ritualistic side. He is a self-proclaimed warrior of God, right? This man is a religious man, and he's one of the boys, right? He's one of the boys, and hopefully it'll either be this Friday, hopefully, or the following Friday. But I can't wait for that, because the information and almost the information from you over one side of the country or the world, sorry, information from John, never met each other, but when stories have details that match up, and when Beverli was talking about the left side, there's so many situations that involve the young ones where they're mutilated down the left side, and it's a telltale sign. John and I have talked about it in our series Crime Theory, and hopefully soon we'll get him on to talk about that. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here. I mean, Big Homie, Beverli, we did it, guys. We did it, right? We did it. And assuming Big Homie is not having to go and infiltrate, will we all be back next week? Okay, we all know now. We all know, right? We all know what's going down. Okay, and I'm excited. I'm excited to tell you guys more and for everyone to know more. There's a link for the Discord for this community. If you want to come and join us, I'm going to come and hang out in Discord just in a little while with you guys. I need to go and speak to Dan and do all that stuff first. But I just want to thank every single one of you in the side chat, the mods, the community, the movement. All of you are what makes this happen. Okay. Now I'm going to be putting up a new thumbnail tomorrow, because obviously I never knew we were going to be touching on this tonight, and finding a victim via remote viewing and then liberating them is quite an intense story that people need to know about. So if make sure you're sharing this out, the thumbnail will update no matter where you share it, and let people know this is the real deal. There's no joking here. There's no gimmicks. This is the rawness, and this is just the beginning. And you all are part of that journey. Big Homie, Beverli, the whole team, the remote viewers, the boots on the ground, the ghosts surviving life, the mods, the Atwood family, all of you. This is it. You can see the change that's going to happen. And if you are watching this live stream and you yourself consider children a commodity, I hope those walls are closing in on you. Alan will see you soon at the very end. But the last thing anybody wants to see is this coming to your front door. All right. No one wants that.
It's Big
One wants that. All right. So just remember that. Right. Love to you all in the side chat. Love to you, Big Homie and Bev. Thank you all, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you so